It's 30 minutes past the hour 6. You're live here on GHOne TV. This is News Tonight with me, Natalie, for a look at our top stories. Coming up this evening on your election hub tonight, National Democratic Congress vows to stop the Electoral Commission from proceeding with the printing of ballot papers for the December elections.
No matter what you do, no matter what you say, this election will never be won by NPP and its partners in the Electoral Commission.
Also coming up, 18 Chang vans destroyed on River Brim as government deploys soldiers to flush out illegal miners in renewed Galamsey fight.
With this immediate aim is that we want to clear all the miners, whether illegal or legal. Once you are on our water bodies or along the water bodies, you are our target.
And ahead in business, Ghana Hotels Association promises full participation in accommodation unit survey to be conducted by the Ghana Statistical Service. In sports tonight, Sudan holds Black Stars to a goalless draw at the Accra Sports Stadium in 2025 AFCON qualifier. And on the international front this evening, at least 5 killed by Hurricane Milton flooding in the United States. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. As always, our bulletin streams live for a global audience on Facebook and X at GHOne TV. It's just 58 days to the 2024 general elections. We remain your election hub. On Election Hub this evening, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, has vowed to stop the Electoral Commission from going ahead with the printing of ballot papers for the 2024 general elections. The party says it is an anomaly for the electoral management body to proceed with printing of ballot papers without issuing a provisional register. The EC held a meeting with the political parties today ahead of the printing, which is slated for tomorrow. Let's listen to Chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, speak on his tour of the Volta region.
The basic requirement that we must have a finalized register based upon which the electoral code books will be made available. For those who don't understand this thing, the code books are the books that tells you polling station by polling station, number of voters in each of those polling stations, and that will guide the composition of the ballot statistics, and then before you proceed to do printing. We do not have the code books as we stand here to guide us as to the number of voters in each polling station for which we'll be printing ballot papers. We don't have the ballot statistics as well, and we are going into printing. So we are back at the guesswork with which Electoral Commission has been approaching their duties. And I don't believe it is guesswork. It is a well-orchestrated plan to position the ruling party in a favorable situation, hoping that they can win this election. Let me tell them, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, this election will never be won by by MPP and its partners in the Electoral Commission.
Well, let's stay on this issue. Deputy Director of IT for the NDC, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, joins us via Zoom for more on this. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us here on News Tonight. First of all, run us through what transpired today at this meeting with the EC.
Very well. Good evening. Let me say good evening to your cherished viewers. Like stated by our national chairman, Honorable Johnson Asido Ketia, we carried through the same message at the meeting today. Actually, the meeting was called for party agents to come for briefing on their proposed printing of ballot papers and then the notice of poll. So when the Deputy Director of Electoral Services made his presentation, we intervened strongly and made them to understand, asked them the same question our national chairman was asking at the press briefing, that on which register are they going to do the printing of the ballot papers? Because you don't print ballot papers out of vacuum. The ballot papers must be printed based on a register. And as we speak now, there is no register as of now. Because at the last IPAC meeting, they indicated they were sending a register to us. But here's the case. They have not given us any register. They haven't. We don't have it. Top on it, there is no ballot statistics. Ballot statistics emanated from the register. And it also give us the voter code book, of which it will indicate to us each polling stations the number of persons who are supposed to vote. We don't have that. You haven't presented anything of that sort. And you say you are going to print ballot papers. So we told them that cannot happen. It won't happen. And we are not going to be part of that kind of process. Right. So we made it very clear to them. And even we added further to them in the meeting that, look, this meeting they had called, the meeting should have been called for leadership of the party to come and deliberate, not party agents. You don't invite party agents to come and discuss matters of this nature. We are recruiting our agents and to deploy them. So how can a electoral commission just get up and start inviting party agents to come to brief them on what? How can the party agents come and take decision on behalf of the party? It doesn't work out like that. So we asked them that we will not be part of these processes and that they should recall another meeting so that we can come and sign out. Signing out means the notice of poll that they intend printing. They will bring it. The leadership of the parties will come and look at it, peruse the document, right, and be sure that that is the right document that they are going to give to the 8 printing houses, right, so that we don't have disparities in terms of printing.
Very well. Now, your main issue here is that we can't print ballot papers when the register has not been issued. What specific challenge does this pose for the NDC as a party, and why does it appear that it's your party that is raising these concerns, looking at the fact that printing starts tomorrow?
Interestingly, it wasn't the NDC that was only raising these issues at the meeting today.
Right.
Our main opponent, the MPP, also backed us in this one. In fact, they fully supported our stand. They supported us and indicated that they go with what we are saying, because clearly they were also thinking that today they would have given us the ballot statistics, right, they will give us the code books, and then even the method the Electoral Commission is adopting in terms of the notice of poll. They didn't support them. They rather supported our stand as the NDC. So it appeared today we had a uniform and then uniform type of agreement from all the political parties over there. Because critically, when we made the presentation, everybody saw that it was clear. The NDC had a point there. Right. They have a point. You can't print ballot papers without a register. Where is the register? Right. Where is your statistics? And so clearly, the Electoral Commission was bruised.
So as it stands, what's the next step going to be? You say that the MPP during this meeting supported the calls being raised by the NDC, interestingly. What's the next step going to be for you?
Well, the next step, we propose to them that they should let us have another meeting tomorrow. In fact, if they want to go ahead with this issue of the notice of poll, of course, we don't have issues with that. The only issue we have with the notice of poll is that we want them to bring it for leadership to sign off on it. Not party agents. A party agent cannot go to the printing house and be signing on notice of poll. It's leadership. We did the balloting. We presented our documentation, so we know our pictures and we know how we want the picture to look like. And this one is a decision taken by leadership, not party agent. Party agents can only go there when the decision has been taken. and then they will just go there and make sure that what the decision we've taken with the Electoral Commission is properly implemented.
Right.
That is, but what the Electoral Commission was trying to do is that they would rather wanted our agents to be at the printing house and then go there and be satisfying these things before the printing is done. And that's what we stopped. We said that bring it at another round table with leadership of the party. We all look at it, we all sign off on it, then you can take it to the printing houses and do.
What has been the response of the EC? Has the EC confirmed that, in fact, this meeting will take place tomorrow ahead of the printing process?
Well, the problem is that the officer who came appeared not to have the locus to take decision. He made us to understand that he doesn't have locus here and that he will carry our message to the electoral commissioners themselves, right, so that they will take the decision and revert back to us by the close of the day. That was his words.
So as it stands, you do not know whether what's going to take place tomorrow in regards to the meeting?
With the position we all took at the meeting by the political parties, right, I doubt whether they can proceed with any activity tomorrow without us having another meeting over these issues.
You're still looking forward to hearing from them before the close of day. It's already
very well.
Almost 7. Very well. Well, we'll certainly follow up. Thank you for joining us this evening, Dr. Rashid Tanko, Computer Executive Deputy Director of IT for the NDC. Now, NDC parliamentary candidates for the Kumbungu constituency, Prof. Hamza Adam, has pledged to lobby for the establishment of a modern market and a senior high school in the constituency when voted for the upcoming election. This, he says, will alleviate pressure on the current senior high school and enhance trade and commerce. He made this known during the launch of the NDC's campaign in the constituency.
We have a befitting market for the good people of Congo. We need a modern market, at least stationed in the district capital, Congo, so that everybody will appreciate and know that we have a solid and an edifice for market purpose in the constituency. I intend to do that. I also intend to push for us to have a second secondary school for the constituency, because the process started before we left power. They had started process to get a befitting secondary school to serve this part of the constituency. That did not happen before we lost power. It is our hope that once we get into power again, by the grace of the Almighty Allah, I will push to ensure we have a befitting secondary school to complement the already existing school.
And it's just 58 days to the 2024 general election. We remain your election hub here on GHOne TV, Star FM, and across all our sister stations. That wraps up Election Hub. Let's turn to some other top stories this evening. 18 Chang fans have been destroyed on the Bream River by the Operation Halt Phase 2 task force, who stormed the eastern region on Thursday. The task force, which kick-starts a 2-week operation to rid water bodies across the country of all forms of mining, stormed various sections of the Bream River in the Itiwa East and West districts, where these machines were seized and destroyed. Though no arrests have been made, the Joint Commander of Operation Halt 2, Colonel Eric Tenadu, told journalists his team is satisfied with the level of success chalked on the first day. He says the team's primary goal for the first phase is to target miners on water bodies.
Our end state is to make sure that we clear all the miners from our water bodies, so that we just hope that our water bodies will now change color as we all expect. So with this immediate aim is that we want to clear all the miners, whether illegal or legal. Once you are on our water body or along the water body, you are our target. Has a clear and unambiguous mission of clearing all our water bodies off mining activities. And at this time, we are not looking at whether the person has the required documents or not. So far as you are on our water bodies or you are along the water bodies, you are our target. We are trying to clear all of them from our water bodies to make sure that our water bodies return to the normal color that we are all looking for.
Well, my colleague Musa Lansa is with the team in the Eastern region and he joins me via Zoom for more on this. Good evening to you, Musa. Now, we've got 18 Chang fans having been destroyed. However, no arrests have been made. Was it the case that these machines were simply idling on the water bodies with no people manning them?
Not really. I think that it's been asked the question.
Right. Now, I'm asking if you can paint a picture of the situation on the grounds. If these machines were just idling and were not being manned by anyone.
Yes. So the team set off from Accra from around 3 a.m. into the GHOne East and West district to begin with the Hall 2 operation. That's the second phase of it. And what you're looking at this time from Colonel Eric Tinedu, is that they are trying to focus mainly on people operating on water bodies. And if I think people have of the coming into the area of the team. So by the time we got to the first place, people had disappeared. The only thing we found at the place was a tricycle and then a motorbike apparently belonging to some of these miners, but they disappeared. They were nowhere to be found, and that has been confiscated by the task force. The second stage we went to a similar situation where we did not find anybody, but just the motorbike belonging to the people. But the champagne machines were found in the basin of the river, and so the task force went in to dismantle them. And if you know how it operates, it has a pipe that is connected to the basin of the river, and that is what is used to stir the soil in the ground to bring out the gold. And so they had to spend several minutes trying to dismantle it, and right after that they set fire to it. And it was a similar thing. Wherever you go to, you don't find anybody, but from what you find on the ground, you realize that people were there, but when they just had the team coming, they disappeared. Nothing.
Interesting, Musa. So that is to say that you also have not had any engagements with any individuals on the ground within the communities as per their reaction to this operation?
Well, I spoke to one of the river wardens who were engaged in this dismantling of the champagne machines. And they were telling me that they were commissioned a week ago to start going around looking for these people. And aside the 18 today that was destroyed by the task force, the river warden who gave his name just as Jane told me their team has been able to destroy as much as 20 champagne machines even before the task force started operation. So, and also the Ghana National Small Scale Miners Association, they were part of the task force, and in our engagement with them indicates that for the illegal miners, they don't really have a problem. It's the illegal miners who are daring to go into the river basin to engage in the mining activities. And because some of them have become very dangerous with the wielding of weapons anytime they are on site, it's difficult for them to confront them. And so they are happy that the task force has been reactivated to come in and then make sure that those who mine on the water bodies, especially the river basin, are taken away to allow for the water to get back to its former state.
Very well. Now, Musa, finally, in rounding up, how long does the government intend on this task force operating?
So the first phase, this phase of Hall 2, is expected to last for about 2 weeks. And they'll make sure they go around all the areas with water bodies. And they don't know whether it will have to continue, but the first phase for the targeting of the river bodies is expected to last for 2 weeks.
Very well. Thank you for the updates there, my colleague Musa Lansa, who is with the team currently in the eastern region, and will certainly be bringing us more on that as it develops. Let's stay on this issue and engage with Awula Sewa, who serves with the Eco-Conscious Citizens Group, for more on this and reactions to this development and the work of Operation Halt 2. We're working the phone lines to engage with her on this renewed military fight against illegal mining. And this certainly isn't the first time that government has taken this route in terms of dealing with illegal mining and bringing a stop to Galamsey with these renewed calls. Currently, we understand that we've had 18 Chang Fangs being destroyed, specifically on the Barim River, and the team has specified that their focus of operation is to ensure that no mining takes place specifically on water bodies. And now we've re-engaged her on the phone lines now to get more on this. Awula Sewa, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us here on News Tonight. I believe you're hearing me clearly. Now, another renewed military fight against illegal mining. As you see, we've got 18 Chang Fangs being destroyed on day one. What are your thoughts to this development?
Well, it's somebody might say it's one step out of 1,000 steps to be taken, but we need something more fundamental than that. Yes, it's a step in the right direction, right, but you would recall that what we asked for was a state of emergency.
Absolutely.
So that you can go into the forest reserve, remove all miners, because you're not supposed to be mining in forest reserve, and remove all the equipment from forest reserves and water bodies. There's been no state of emergency. I hear what you're saying, 18 or whatever has been burned, but where were they burned? We also asked for a pause on small-scale mining, because the monetary regime is very weak, in some cases non-existent, and you don't really know what is going on. Sometimes the small-scale mining is the same as illegal mining.
Right.
So there's a lot going on, and one would have wished that the demands had been met and not what is going on, which is not quite what was asked for.
Right. So you're saying in this case the demands have not been met. The declaration of a state of emergency, that call has not been made either. As you said, we've gone down this route before. We've taken similar efforts in terms of curbing and ending illegal mining. It hasn't quite yielded the desired result, and that's why we find ourselves here now. What ought to be done differently as it stands? It hasn't
yielded the results because many of the times the firefighters themselves were the arsonists. Right. I mean, let's be very, very straightforward about it. For example, you had the case of the Kano Nimiri Forest Reserve, where Akonsa mine is reported to have destroyed parts of the Kano Nimiri Forest Reserve. There was no accountability. Media against Galamsey was trying to pursue the matter. To this date, we haven't seen the docket on it. Then, you see, it's very important that a fight is sustained and the political will is there. It did not seem to be there. We've asked for a pause on issuing licenses. As we speak, the Minerals Commission is still issuing licenses. So it doesn't look like there's a seriousness in curbing or dealing with illegal mining once and for all. There was supposed to be a strike. What we're trying to do is divide and rule, stop the strike from taking place, do a few things to give the impression that there's something serious going on. But I'm not convinced.
Well, we'll certainly be monitoring the situation in the days ahead and the steps taken by the government. But thank you so much for your time this evening. Awula Sewa there with Eco-Conscious Citizens joining us on that issue. That wraps up Insight. You're welcome back to News Tonight here on GHOne TV. And some more news this evening. The Association of Magistrates and Judges of Ghana have condemned the behavior of the protesters in the Family Values March at the premises of the Supreme Court, while presenting a petition to the Chief Justice over delays in hearing the anti-LGBTQ+ cases at the Apex Court. According to the judges, the conduct of the protesters, led by Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram, Samuel Nate George, and the insults leveled against the judiciary and the Chief Justice left much to be desired. President of the association, Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, made these known at a press conference in Accra on Thursday, October 10, 2024.
A group of people went on demonstration and sought to enter the Supreme Court premises. Not only did these demonstrators seek to enter the Supreme Court premises, but they shouted abuses and insults at the judiciary as a whole, at her ladyship, the Chief Justice, and demanded that judgment should be given in their favor in the LGBTQ cases. Now, the conduct of the demonstrators and their leaders, one of whom was a member of Parliament, and the behavior they put up, and the insults, left much to be desired. It is worth pointing out that every court, from the district court through to the Supreme Court, has a procedure that has to be followed by every litigant before the case will be ripe for hearing. And no judge, not even her ladyship, the Chief Justice, can torpedo that procedure and the rules of court. When people who are supposed to know better seek to stampede the judiciary, to attack the judiciary and to cause mayhem, that is a threat to the judicial institution and all that it stands for. How could anybody who knows and who should know better and who knows that his case is not even ripe for hearing get up, shout from the rooftop and ask to be for judgment to be given in that case?
Well, still on this issue, let's engage with a leading member of Advocates for Christ, one of the proponents of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, Edem Senanu, there with the convener for Advocates for Christ. Good evening to you, Mr. Senanu. Thank you for joining us via Zoom this evening. Now, the magistrates say that the protesters stampeded and attacked the judiciary with your comments, and they're not quite pleased with the posture of the protesters. How do you respond to this?
Thank you very much, and good evening. First of all, I've never heard of this association. I don't know whether they're a legitimate group, but if they are, perhaps they were not on the ground with the thousands of pictures and hundreds of videos, and with the arrangements that the police had done. There was absolutely no attempt at fighting or forcing to get into the Supreme Court. That takes away the credibility of their statement, because everybody who was there knows there was no fighting, there was no forcing to get into any Supreme Court. And the substantive content of the petitions had to do with get the filings done so that hearings can be done so that the process can continue. So they seem to be speaking at variance with what the petitioners put before the Chief Justice and indeed the AG before that. They seem to be in a world of their own. I just can't understand how they will fabricate such stories. I don't recall any single insult anywhere, and none of the video clips or pictures or anything have suggested that. None of the reportage has suggested that. And so I don't know where this group has come from. Indeed, I think that the police should be commended. They were very thorough. The day before, they went through the entire route with the organizers and exactly what was planned in terms of at which point you hand over the petitions, who will be there. Everything was choreographed and done to perfection. So I'm really, I don't know, they appear to be in a world of their own.
Interesting. Now, you say you've never heard of this association, questioning the legitimacy of the association. However, specifically what they did say, which you highlighted on, were the insults leveled against the judiciary, Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, describing it as having left much to be desired. Do you find that those claims are entirely false as well?
Yeah, I mean, did you see any video clip where anyone was being insulted? I haven't. I haven't seen a single video clip supporting what they are saying. At worst, it's an exaggeration. At worst, it's a figment of their imagination. I am surprised. And I'm just saying I don't know about any such group. I mean, in all the years, I've never heard about this.
So in any of you, the protesters acted in order completely, 100%?
Well, you can never stop some people on the fringes from misbehaving. You can't always tell. There could be one or two people.
So do you admit to any misconduct amongst them?
Sorry?
Would you acknowledge or admit to any sense of improper behavior amongst the protesters at all?
But I've already spoken to that. I've told you that there was no such evidence. I haven't seen any such thing. I've not heard any such thing. So if it happened at the periphery, then one should not take that and make it a substantive. This is a distraction. It's trying to take us away from the most important thing about efficient justice delivery. Justice delayed is justice denied. And they shouldn't confuse us or distract us. Maybe they are first-class citizens and we are second-class citizens with no rights in this country. If that's the trajectory, fine. But I'm saying that on the score of it, you are in media. Did you see any such video clips with people being insulted? I didn't see any. I saw Ghanaians of all walks of life come together. I saw prominent individuals and citizens of this country come and speak their mind. So please, they should not distract us. If they have a particular story they want to put out there and they've conjured it, we don't know about that. I'm sorry, there's not much we can say. We will not be distracted by that. We've written to the CJ. There are substantive issues in the petition. It would have made a lot of logic if they were speaking to those issues so that we can all move ahead. They should understand that there's a large number of Ghanaians who feel strongly about this, but we came there without being insulting. It was very lovely, very beautiful. They should not confuse the issues.
Very well. Now, you say it's a distraction. One, very briefly, finally, the concern that they've also raised is the fact that you should allow the system, as I put it, to work, saying that not even the CJ, the Chief Justice, can torpedo the procedure, the rules of court. What's your response to that being put forward by the group?
I don't think that they have paid attention to the petition, because that's what the petition says. The petition says that the Chief Justice should instruct these lawyers to hurry up and file their cases so the hearings can be heard and things proceed. We are saying we have seen that done in the case of the electoral petitions, and so we know that the CJ has that discretionary power. It is the same thing that the Attorney General just last week, Godfrey Dam, he told them as judges. You can go back to his listening to them that, listen, you can speed up these cases and in 1 month clear the 140 galamsey cases. We are not saying anything new. The Attorney General of this country said the same thing. So they shouldn't try and confuse us with some legalese or something they think we don't know. We are saying we are citizens, we have rights, respect those rights and fulfill them.
Very well. Edemson Anu, convener, Advocates for Christ. Thank you so much for your time this evening. You're watching News Tonight. More on that subsequently in other news tonight. The Ghana Police Service has officially confirmed the violent clash involving police, military and customs officers in the Upper East region on Wednesday, October 9. The incident occurred at the Misiga security checkpoint in Boko and stemmed from a misunderstanding over an intercepted truck suspected of smuggling cocoa beans. According to a statement signed by the Director of Police Public Affairs, ACP Grace Ansa Akrofi, the police intercepted the consignment based on intelligence and were in the process of escorting the truck to the Boko Divisional Police Command for investigation and prosecution of the suspects. The police emphasized that this was not an isolated case as they had previously intercepted similar smuggled cocoa consignments in the region, which were handed over to Cocoa Board. With the suspects currently facing prosecution, the statement firmly rejected allegations in the media suggesting police involvement in facilitating the smuggling. The leadership of the police, military and customs promptly intervened to resolve the misunderstanding at the national level, ensuring continued cooperation among the institutions. The Upper East Regional Security Council, RegSec, has also convened meetings with personnel and their leaders at the regional level to complement national efforts aimed at restoring harmony and enhancing collaboration. This is News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Let's turn to some other stories now. Experts from the fields of mental health and human resources are impressing on organizations to, as a matter of urgency, take the mental health of their employees seriously if high productivity is to be achieved. According to them, absenteeism and absent-mindedness are symptoms of mental health challenges, which contribute immensely to low productivity. Hence, the need to champion the mental fortitude of employees for the achievement of their company's goals and objectives. There's more in this report.
According to Ghana's Somubi Jumedi, the country loses 7% in gross domestic product due to mental health-related issues. The experts indicate that practices such as bullying, intimidation, and discrimination, among others, trigger mental health issues. Labor consultant and human resource practitioner Senyo Ajabin calls for mental health capacity building of employees to change the narrative.
Prioritizing mental health in the workplace is not just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. The benefits are clear: higher productivity, low turnover, improved employee retention, and a happier, healthier workforce. But achieving this requires deliberate effort, commitment from leadership, HR professionals, and also all employees.
Speaking on the sidelines of the forum, Chief Executive of the Mental Health Authority, Professor Pinaman Apau, expressed optimism about mental health being enrolled on the National Health Insurance Scheme by the close of the year.
One of the challenges that Mental Health Authority faces, getting data, but we usually would go by the world or the global statistics. There's supposed to be a source of funding for the mental health fund to come into operationalization, and that is what is lacking now. The Ministry of Finance needs to identify a levy that will feed into the mental health fund for it to become operational.
On his part, technical advisor to the Minister of Health, Darren Ose, reiterated the ministry's commitment to making workplaces conducive for workers through strategic investment in mental health.
Mental health in the workplace should not be viewed as just a common for mental health professionals, but as a collective responsibility. The Ministry of Health, through Mental Health Authority, remains committed to fostering collaboration across all relevant sectors to ensure development and implementation of comprehensive workplace mental health programs.
The 2024 Mental Health Day is themed, "It's time to prioritize mental health in the workplace."
As we bring you business news now. In business this evening, Chairman for the Committee on Public Administration and State Interest, Dr. Kwabena Donko, has questioned government over failure to express interest in the sale of the Achim operations of Newmont Corporation. The company has announced it is selling the Achim mine to a Chinese firm, Xinjiang Mining Group, under an agreement for cash consideration of up to $1 billion. Addressing the media, the former power minister charged President Akufo-Addo to ensure the state or Ghanaians get a stake in the mine, which he argues is productive with over 20 years lifespan.
His Excellency the President had stated in his State of the Nation address in 2023, and I think I did 2024, that the government will make efforts for Newmont Achim to be in the hands of Ghanaian interest. I am also aware that Ghanaian companies spearheaded by the Minerals Income Investment Fund had made approaches to acquire Newmont Achim. This is a very healthy mine with good cash flows. Newmont is disposing of because they are taking a global policy to dispose of all their gold mines except their tier 1 gold mine. Their Tano mine is a tier 1 mine, and indeed the new one of Tano, it's also a tier 1. His Excellency the President's vision has been to win Ghana of aid by adding value to our own resources. So this was an excellent opportunity for Ghanaian and Ghanaian companies.
More on that subsequently. In other business news, the Ghana Hotels Association has promised their full participation in the accommodations unit survey that is set to start on the 1st of November this year. The survey, organized by the Ghana Statistical Service, will use a comprehensive questionnaire to collect data on all aspects of operations in selected accommodation units. Speaking at a stakeholder consultation for the accommodation unit survey, President of the Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Aka Nyameche, intimated the survey would help provide crucial data, which is currently missing in the tourism sector.
Know about the hotel industry, it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much that we miss out because we don't have a system that is structured to capture every information concerning the industry, which is why this particular survey is very important. If you listen to speakers, you would realize that they are going to look at every aspect of our operations, revenue side, and then the expenses side as well as the various facilities that we operate with, and of course the taxes and levies that we always complain about. It's all captured there. So it's giving a holistic picture of the hotel industry. I think it is very necessary, and we are happy that it is being done. Well, this is something that was mooted some years ago, but it was not implemented. But now you can see that the Ghana Statistical Service is very ready and prepared to do that under the tourism satellite account project, which is supposed to give a true picture of the contribution of the tourism and hospitality sector to our GDP.
Well, that's all the business news we've got for you this evening. More business news on our website, starfm.com.gh. Do stay with us. Sports news is up shortly.
Over 5 million children have benefited from
You're welcome back to News Tonight. Sports News is next. In sports this evening, the Black Stars of Ghana were held to a goalless draw by their Sudanese counterparts in the 2025 AFCON qualifiers here at the Accra Sports Stadium. My colleague Benjamin Yamwa is at the stadium and he joins me now with more on this. Benjamin, I hope you're on and can hear me. It's not quite the results that we expected, is it? Rather disappointing.
Very disappointing out for results there, obviously, for the Black Stars, especially as they played a much better game today against Sudan, their opponents at the Accra Sports Stadium. Compare this to what we saw against Angola and also Niger in the first two games. This was a clear departure, a clear improvement on how they played in the first two games. They played well, had chances in the second half especially. Unfortunately, could not utilize any of them as they could not score any goal. From Mohamed Kudus to Antoine Semenyo to Inaki Williams, all had chances, but they could not utilize any of them, could not score any, so the game ended 0-0 here. So as it stands now on the table, Angola still leads on 6 points. Sudan now have 4 points. Ghana now on 2 points, with of course Niger following in that order. So what it means is that with the 3 remaining fixtures, Ghana needs to now ensure that they pick up maximum points to have a good chance of qualifying for the next Nations Cup that will be held in Morocco. Let me briefly interact with the senior manager, communications department for the GFA, Sheikh Tawfiq Sieno, a good brother and friend. Sheikh, not a very good time, but what do you make of the result we saw here? What really led to this scoreline, 0-0 draw with Sudan?
Quite disappointing, very, very disappointing, because if a team plays the way the Black Stars played, create numerous chances, goal scoring chances, yawning nets, still the ball refuses to enter the net, you know, at the end of the day it becomes very disappointing. Sudan came with a game plan. Their game plan was to sit back, allow Ghana to press them deep at their goal area, create space between our last line of defense and the goalkeeper, and then hit us with long balls. Because against Central African Republic, we conceded goals through that. Against Mexico, we conceded through that. And so they realized that is one of the defensive challenges the team has. So they decided to, you know, exploit that. But fortunately for us, today defensively we're very solid. We're able to, you know, block that space, because I realized Ziggy, anytime we're going on the attack, closes the gap. A clear indication that talks have gone in, and he's also realized that there is something that he needs to do. So Sudan could not exploit that. However, they were very defensive at the back, very solid there, and that was the game plan. Let's frustrate Ghana. Let's ensure that they don't score against us. And I think that regardless of the fact that they did extremely very well in defending, we should have been maybe 2-3 goals up.
We had the chances.
Considering the chances. Look at the header of Semenyo that rattled the bar. Look at Semenyo again in the second half. You look at Mohamed Kudus. Kudus, of all people, you know, who can even blow air to a ball and the ball enters the net. This time around, struggling to kick the ball to the net. So I feel that yes, there are positives in the game, and then it's disappointing that we couldn't win, but the fight still continues.
And the fight continues, you know, on Tuesday in Libya against Sudan. What will the approach, and is there hope really for the Black Stars in the game in Sudan or in Libya against Sudan?
Well, I think away in Libya, the game plan for the Black Stars will be quite different, because here, Sudan will not sit back. Sudan are playing at home. So obviously they will also open up, because now they have 4 points. They will also need to win if they want to, you know, make it to the next phase. So what it means is that they will also open up. And when they open up, then it becomes a very good game to throw punches at each other. And that is when, you know, Ghana will also have a very good opportunity of playing. Because Ghana is not going to set back against Sudan and then try to catch them on counter. Ghana is going to play. And Sudan will also want to play because they are playing at home. So I think the approach will be different, and the game plan. And then tactically, I feel, you know, certain things must change about our team. Today, attitude, in my opinion, was okay. The sense of urgency from some of the players was seen on the field of play. But then, in attack, in the final third, I think the way we press must be something that we need to work on. let's look at how we press when the opponent is building the attack. It must not be Jordan. It must not be Semenyo. We must not press as individuals. We must press as a team. When the player pressing the one with the ball is moving, the options must be closed down so that he will be in trouble. That is how you score. And that is how you break the offensive transition of your opponent, and then you can go through. So for me, I think that the approach in the second game is going to be different, and we'll see a very different.
When will the team leave Ghana for Libya for the second encounter?
The team will leave on Saturday. They will train tomorrow, recovery, and then train on Saturday, and then leave on Saturday in the evening. Get to Libya by Sunday morning, train on Sunday, the mandatory training session at the stadium where the game will be played, and then on Monday the game is played. So the team is leaving on Saturday from Ghana.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Tawfiq, as always, for your time with us. That's Sheikh Tawfiq, Senior Manager, Communications Department of the GFA, sharing his thoughts with us on how things panned out as the Black Stars drew against their opponents from Sudan. So, Kosi Apia getting the all-important 1 point here against Otto Addo at the Accra Sports Stadium. So that's it from us here at the Accra Sports Stadium.
Thank you so much for the update there from the Accra Sports Stadium. You're watching News Tonight on the international front this evening. Before we wrap up, 5 people have been killed by tornadoes on the state's east coast in St. Lucie County in Florida. Residents have been warned not to visit areas hit by the Hurricane Milton after it brought tornadoes, floods and storm surges to the state. According to Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, there is not yet a total confirmed count of deaths throughout the state. However, more flooding should be expected in the coming days. Hurricane Milton is moving into the Atlantic, but many parts of Florida are flooded. And that's news from the international front. Now, before we wrap up, Accra, are you ready as we celebrate our 10 years anniversary? Star 103.5 FM, your #1 radio station, presents the Star FM at 10 Diplomatic Games. Be sure to be a part of the ultimate sporting event of the year as we bring the world's top diplomats together for friendly competition like none other. The theme for this year is breast cancer awareness. Feel it, find it, and fight it. We certainly will be looking forward to seeing you there. And that's how we draw the curtains on News Tonight this evening. Thank you so much for making the time. It was produced by Joshua Kojo Mensah. From I and the camera crew, the entire team, thank you so much for watching. I'm Natalie Fort. Have a wonderful evening.